You know these things? The cheap chicken brooders you find at your local farm supply or hardware store? Corrugated plastic walls held together with plastic rings, and they flip and they flop and are tiny and can't hold anything? I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. Worthless piles! I'm building my own this year, and I have a deadline. The first thing I had to figure out was how to get wood to stick to other wood. I tried string first, with mixed results. I then tried a sternly worded letter, which worked about as well as it does for your local representatives. Finally, I decided that tape was simply a no-go. I decided to invent this new thing I call screws. They worked perfectly for joining wood together. I was quite pleased with myself. But then, I was faced with a new problem. Now, armed with my newfound ability to make 2 pieces of wood, 1 piece of wood, how would I then take all of these pieces of wood and make them into 1 giant piece of wood? I had to have a think. Lines, multiple lines, squares, lines connected into squares, lines, squares, 2 squares with lines makes box. I invented boxes. It would be box, and so I got to work. My brooder box would be about 8 feet long and 4 feet wide, consist of 4 walls and a floor, as boxes often tend to do. I started with the floor. I would need to figure out how to make some of these long boards short. I had a look around my workshop. No. Nope. What could I use to shorten these boards? They definitely weren't going to break over my knee, and they couldn't be negotiated with. My final offer. If only I had something strong like metal with teeth. If I could cut teeth into metal, it might slice through wood like a bunch of chisels. I select some material, draw some teeth on it, and get to work cutting the teeth into it. Before long, I've invented another fantastic tool, which I've decided to call a saw. I screwed, I sawed, I conquered. It made fairly quick work of shortening boards. A few of these, a few of those, a bit of that, and some screws. And voila, I had 1 big piece of wood. I was so pleased with myself that I had to lay down and take a break. Hey everyone, I had something really exciting I wanted to share with you. I am making these 4 times a year. That means that quarterly, there's going to be a unique postcard being sent out to my patrons. That's right, I started a Patreon. However, I wanted to do cool physical things like this for the Patreon. Another cool opportunity that's coming up is you are going to be able to name the chickens that are going into this brooder. There is another tier that includes naming one of the chickens that's available, and it includes the postcards where you'll get quarterly updates on how your chicken is doing. So that's something really cool I just wanted to share. I think these are really awesome, and I hope you do too. I woke later that night and realized I had been asleep all day. It was dark now, unfortunately, but I couldn't let that stop me. I got started on the next piece of the poultry puzzle, the walls, working late into the night. By morning, I had finished the first wall. The second wall went swimmingly, now that I could see. I was knocking them out at the speed of a toddler running with a marker. Nothing could stop me now. The beauty and majesty of nature. A new baby wall was born. Another was soon on the way. And finally, I had it. Oh right, screw screws. A quick divider for the day-old chicks. Next up is bedding, which comes in this bag, which is sealed, and I couldn't find my knife. Good thing I have an electric knife. Quickly dump it into the brooder. There's just a few more essentials left to make a comfy home for baby birds. An old watering hole for their parched beaks, a feed tray for their ravaged bellies, and a heating plate to keep the shivers away. I was ready for day one, and while I had other plans for this brooder, they would come into play when the chicks were a few weeks old, and I only had one day left before they would arrive. Hey, thanks for coming along for the ride. I hope you had fun watching this. I had a lot of fun making it, and you know, you're still watching, so you really should subscribe so you can keep up with other videos like this that I have planned. So I hope to see you later. Check out my Patreon, link in the description, and I will see you next time.
Don't forget to subscribe and click a button down below so you never miss any of our future videos.